Welcome into WTOL 11 News at 11. I'm Michael Sandlin. Thanks so much for joining us on your Sunday evening. We'll get to all of our top stories and more in just a moment, but first, let's get a check at that forecast. We'll turn to John Birchfield. John, we're going to have some warm weather in store for us tomorrow, but what are things going to be like in that morning temperature?
We're going to be a little cool in the morning and then mild in the afternoon, Michael, and lots of sunshine ahead for the work week. Feeling like summer in this final week of the summer season. Temperatures are going to gradually climb to the mid-80s, although unfortunately the moderate drought is likely to continue and possibly expand with the absence of rainfall. Right now we're at 62 degrees and the sky is clear, and that clear sky has actually enabled some folks to see the aurora, the northern lights. Even though there's only a minor geomagnetic storm, Rick and Ottawa Lake captured this beautiful photo of some greens and some purples on the horizon. Again, those colors are often a little more vivid through the lens of a camera or a phone versus the naked eye. Sky is totally clear right now. Any chances of seeing the northern lights most likely going to be in rural areas, especially north of the state line. Now the winds are turning calm. It was a little bit breezy today with the east wind off the lake, but the calm wind could allow just a little bit of patchy fog to form by daybreak. Not going to be a major impact, although there could still be a few areas of patchy fog. The bus stop forecast featuring sunshine, temperatures around 60, and then as we flip over into the afternoon, highs are going to be in the 80s. I'm going to preview our next rain chance and also look ahead to the start of fall coming up in just a bit.
John, we'll see you then. An 81-year-old Lenawee County woman is dead after a crash in Raisin Township this morning. Deputies say she was driving on Occidental Highway when her car went off the road and hit a tree. She was taken to a nearby hospital but did not survive. Investigators say speed wasn't a factor and she was wearing a seatbelt. The crash is still under investigation. And just into the newsroom, a man is in critical condition after a shooting in East Toledo this afternoon. It happened just before 3:30 at the Weiler Homes Apartments on Leach Avenue. Police say someone called 911 from the Rainbow Market across the street. Right now, there's no word on a suspect. The investigation is still ongoing. Toledo police are investigating a shooting in West Toledo. It happened at a home on Eleanor Avenue near Lewis last night around 11:30. Toledo police say one man was shot in the lower body. We're told his injuries are believed to be non-life-threatening. Officers say shell casings were found inside the home, but they don't know how many shots were fired. One person was taken in for questioning. It's not clear if any charges have been filed. An update to a story we first told you about earlier this summer. A 38-year-old man shot in his North Toledo home has died. Hassan Cummings, a person with special needs, died on August 23rd. He was shot back on July 30th at his home on Homer Avenue. 19-year-old Darius Horton is charged in the case. According to court documents, Horton shot Cummings in the stomach, then took off, and a warrant has been issued for his arrest. However, Cummings' father, Danny Riley, says Horton didn't actually shoot Cummings. Rather, he brought a gun into the home and Cummings found it and accidentally shot himself. Riley calls the whole thing a, quote, tragic example of a lack of gun safety.
You say day by day. This is minute by minute, trying to cope with it. So I try not to think about Darius. I try not to think about the whole thing, and that works sometimes for a little while. It's a little narrow escape.
Toledo police say they plan to meet with the prosecutor's office soon to determine if Horton's felonious assault charge should be elevated. WTOL 11 spoke to Horton's mother, who says he plans on turning himself in. Tonight, we're spotlighting a piece of local sports history from nearly 40 years ago. In 1986, the Caldwell High School boys cross-country team etched their name into Ohio sports history with a season so dominant that its records still stand today. Dominique O'Neill joined us in studio with more. Dominique, what can you tell us about this team and what made them so special?
Well, Michael, it will be 40 years ago next fall when the team finishes a historic season with a perfect record. Their win was so historic, they set records that still stand today. It was the fall of 1986, and Caldwell's cross-country team were just crossing the finish line at the state meet, ending their season with the flawless 137-0 record, securing the state championship and setting two records that still haven't been touched: the lowest point total at the meet with 26 points and the largest margin of victory with 85 points. Almost 40 years later, former Caldwell coach Ron Martin, who guided the team, recently reflected on the historic run during a recent cross-country meet in Attica.
And my job as a coach is to get kids to buy into what I have to sell. And I promise them if they do, that they'll have success with it.
While Martin says he believed in the team from the beginning, on the surface, they didn't necessarily seem like championship material. They were just a group of kids from a little farm school outside of Marietta. And at one point, other schools even picked on them about it.
Teams come up to us and said, don't you know the little kids race was earlier in the day? And another team came up and said, don't you know you're too small to win? Well, that added fuel to our kids' fire.
The smack talk fueled the kids' ambition. Martin says all he added was the confidence in themselves to truly take the kids to the next level.
Good coaches get kids to believe in the coach. Great coaches get kids to believe in themselves.
And soon the kids were out racing and outpacing all the other kids in the region, and soon the state, creating a connection to running that outlived the season.
We're very blessed. Of our top 8, 7 went on to run Division I cross country, including our number 1 runner went to Michigan, became an All-American at Michigan. Others went to Kent State, Ohio University, University of Cincinnati. So very blessed.
That's Randy Lowe, one of the star runners from that legendary '86 team. Lowe says the lessons he learned back then have carried him through life, guiding him to work hard and take big leaps.
The biggest takeaway I took away from my sport was belief in myself, discipline, the discipline to know that I can complete any task.
As the 40th anniversary of their historic season approaches next fall, the Caldwell team's legacy continues to inspire new generations of runners across Ohio. Reporting in studio, Dominique O'Neill, WTOL 11.
All right, thanks a lot, Dom. For 45 years now, historic St. Pat's Church in downtown Toledo has celebrated a mass to thank local firefighters and first responders. A lightning strike hit the church's steeple, setting it on fire back on September 9th of 1985. The strike burned roughly 2/3 of the steeple, taking 25 years to replace. Drums and bagpipes filled the church as well as active and retired firefighters were inside the building. The mass grew out of a way for the parish to thank the Toledo firefighters who responded to the blaze. The firefighters saved the church, although there was some severe water damage inside.
Which is why now our pews are all very light oak instead of the dark color they used to be, because we had to strip them and clean them. But you put up with that. Thank God we have them. Thank God we have the church. Thank God we had the firefighters. And thank God we've got them today, all these brave men and women who I hear right around the corner from Fives.
Thank God we have the firefighters indeed. Reverend Vasco says the Mass also commemorates the tragic events of 9/11 to remember the thousands of people that died, especially the first responders, so that it doesn't fade into history and just become another day. Kids in a West Toledo neighborhood got the chance to enjoy an old-fashioned field day this weekend. The Glenwood Park Neighborhood Coalition hosted a block party this afternoon with sack races, tug of war, and an egg and spoon race. Winners got a gold medal, but everyone got a free scoop of ice cream. Organizers say they hope events like these can build a sense of community.
Dang, we had a lot of fun today, and I wish they would do that every weekend.
Well, this is only the second Scooptopia. However, both organizers and children say they're looking forward to making it an annual tradition. 28 authors met their current readers and hope to attract some new ones in the Parking Lot Party and Author Fair in Perrysburg today. Many genres were celebrated, including children's books, horror, science fiction, regional nonfiction, and everything in between. Proceeds will go for funding the 4th annual Northwest Ohio Teen Book Festival, sponsored by Gathering Volumes. Organizers say more readers come out each year to meet their favorite local and regional authors.
It's awesome for people to come in and meet, you might have an author here who you didn't know you had a book of theirs. So even if you're not in the market to purchase, come by, meet some new, literary friends.
Yeah, we do have those.
Former WTOL news director Anthony Knops was on hand selling his 7th book, The No Fail Mission. There was also live music and free homebrew samples from Glass City Mashers. Up next, authorities are searching for a motive in last week's killing of conservative activist and influencer Charlie Kirk. We'll give you the latest after the break.
And still feeling like summer this week. Temperatures climb to the mid to upper 80s, dry until next weekend, but I'll preview when we could see some showers in your full forecast next.
Welcome back in. Authorities in Utah are searching for a motive in Wednesday's killing of conservative activist and influencer Charlie Kirk. Authorities say interviews with family and friends of the 22-year-old suspect suggest he was radicalized in the dark corners of the internet. CBS is in the Spanish Fork of Utah with the very latest.
Charlie just kept pursuing his dream.
The outpouring of support for slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk is mounting outside Turning Point USA's Phoenix headquarters, the nonprofit he founded in 2012. While in Utah, Governor Spencer Cox provided new details about the alleged gunman's personal life.
The roommate was a romantic partner, a male transitioning to female. This partner has been incredibly cooperative, had no idea that this was happening, and is working with investigators right now.
When asked if the roommate's gender identity was relevant to the investigation, the governor said,
"That's what we're trying to figure out right now."
Investigators haven't released a motive for the shooting. Law enforcement sources tell CBS News the suspect is not providing information to authorities. CBS's Andres Gutierrez is in the suspect's hometown of St. George, Utah.
This is the church where the suspect's family attended. I spoke with their bishop, who declined to provide any details because the investigation is ongoing. There was no mention of Wednesday's shooting during the hour-long service we attended.
After the shooting, the suspect allegedly engaged in a series of online conversation with friends on the chat community Discord, reportedly joking about his resemblance to the person of interest. The New York Times reported the suspect told the group the man seen in surveillance photos was his, quote, doppelganger, adding that he's trying to get me in trouble. In a statement to CBS News, a Discord spokesperson said it had not found or received any evidence the suspect planned this incident on Discord or promoted violence on Discord. We'll learn more about the case against the alleged gunman when prosecutors file formal charges on Tuesday ahead of his first court appearance. A vigil for Kirk will be held tomorrow in Phoenix. Carter Evans, CBS News, Spanish Fork, Utah.
Since the shooting, a memorial has been growing outside the headquarters of Turning Point USA in Phoenix, an organization Kirk founded to spread his conservative message among youth. According to police, one man was trespassing and damaged the memorial around 10 o'clock this morning. Videos circulated online appear to show him stepping on flowers and other mementos. The man was reportedly thrown to the ground by witnesses at the scene and then arrested by police.
On the way here, I was on my phone and we saw it was just very recent today. Yeah, it's so sad. I don't understand. I mean, just leave it alone. Let's respect this tragedy.
Police tell CBS News the man is now facing criminal damage and disorderly conduct charges. Kirk continues to be a controversial figure following his death, with many praising his conservative mission, while others remain critical of some of his polarizing ideas. Let's get things over to John for our forecast.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. The sunshine continuing into the upcoming week, although there could be a little bit of patchy fog out the door tomorrow morning. Here was this morning's sunrise at Maumee Bay State Park. Just a little bit of low fog there and a gorgeous sunrise captured by David Tidrick. And I do want to share one more sunrise, a Point Place sunrise starting off the day. Anya captured this one gorgeously. Again, a little bit of fog could impact the morning tomorrow. And if you have any photos you want to share with the WTOL 11 weather team, you can submit those on our free weather app. Patchy fog, calm and comfortable tonight. 59 degrees. As the wind turns calmer, there could be a little bit of fog developing, especially since we had that east wind off the lake. There sometimes is a bit of moisture from that marine layer off the lake. Clear right now, 5-mile visibility in Monroe. Any fog that sets in won't be until closer to daybreak. Winds are nice and calm now, and it is comfortable, not overly chilly. Looking at the hour-by-hour forecast, some areas totally clear. Others do see some minor fog, although I'm not expecting any major or widespread impacts. Once that fog burns off, sunshine quickly wins out. You can see the hourly forecast on our free WTOL 11 weather app. And if you click that More button, you can submit photos to the WTOL 11 weather team. Tomorrow is going to be a beautiful sunny day, 82 degrees. Once again, that east wind direction, it is going to make it just a couple degrees cooler near the Lake Erie shores. Looking towards the afternoon, you'll see low 70s in Port Clinton and Sandusky, low 80s in Toledo, and mid 80s west of town. Areas like Defiance and Putnam counties could be as warm warm as about 85 degrees. So quite the temperature difference from west to east expected. In addition to the warmer weather, it's going to be a dry week of weather. No rain until at least next weekend. And the moderate drought appears to be continuing to grow. We're going to have the latest drought monitor on Thursday, and we'll share the updates with you. September rainfall is only at 0.6 of an inch, and normally through today's date we're at 1.38, so less than half what you could expect for the month so far. Sunshine and dry weather continuing for the week, mid-80s Wednesday, and Thursday is going to be the warmest day of the entire forecast. In fact, there's a chance that Thursday is the warmest day for the rest of the calendar year, with temperatures in the upper 80s, mostly sunny and a warmer feel. And it's going to be a very warm and dry week of weather, above average temperatures expected for much of the region. So weather impacts ahead. Drought's going to continue to grow this week, sunny and dry conditions, possible showers next weekend. We are monitoring a pattern shift in a cold front that could bring us some scattered showers, followed by a cooler start to the autumn season. We are just about a week away from the start of fall, officially beginning Monday, the 22nd. There is a slight chance for some spotty showers Saturday, Sunday. There's that first day of fall Monday, and right on cue, Mother Nature is going to flip a switch, and we're going to drop from the 80s down into the 70s with some more seasonable conditions expected as we officially start off the fall season. But Michael, seems like summer not ready to give up just yet. Going to be feeling like it. It's too bad those area pools closed, because it's going to be good pool weather this week.
I know, no kidding. Yeah, look at those 80s. I didn't
Yeah.
think we'd even see those this late in the season.
Yeah, it's nice too, because you don't get that muggy humidity that you have in July and August. Just a really nice, comfortable one.
Yeah, definitely. And you said the warmest day is going to be Thursday?
Yeah, not necessarily the warmest day for the rest of the calendar year. I'll eat my words if we get like an 88-degree day in October, but getting those upper 80s is harder to come by as you progress into fall.
But you could call it a gift, if you will.
It is a little gift. We're on borrowed time here, but we'll take the gift.
Well, that's great, because it's Chase's birthday on Thursday, so I guess you could call it a little bit of a gift. Chase, isn't that true?
Yes, it is. I can't believe you spoiled it to everybody. I was hoping to be surprised, maybe. Anyway, when we return, it's week 2 of the NFL season. Lions take on the Bears, Browns take on the Ravens, plus final home game for the Mud Hens season. Got those stories and more coming up next in sports.
Big upsets, huge wins at home, and the games that could change everything. Plus, we introduce you to the man balancing life as a principal and head coach this season.
That's right, Noelle. Then it's time for our countdown, the top 11 BGSU football players of the 21st century, and your votes in our poll, this week's parent shout out, and plenty more.
Watch the leaderboard exclusively on WTOL 11+. Download for your TV and watch for free.
Sports brought to you by Jim White Honda. Welcome back. It's week 2 of the NFL season. We've got Lions and Browns playing divisional rivals again. And let's start with Detroit. Lions back at Ford Field for their first home game of the regular season, taking on their divisional rival, the Chicago Bears, and former offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, now the head coach of the Bears. Fans wondered if Detroit could have the same kind of offense without Johnson, but it looks like that was no problem this week. The Lions hung 52 on Chicago. Detroit had over 500 yards of offense, more than 300 of it through the air. Jared Goff completed 23 of 28 passes and finished with a passer rating of 156. That is about as high as it goes in that metric. Lions get a much-needed first win of the season. Meanwhile, for the Browns, they went on the road this week to take on the Ravens. Unlike the Lions, Cleveland did not pick up a win in their second week. They fall to Baltimore by a final score of 41-17. First-round pick Quinshon Judkins has finally joined the team as the NFL investigates allegations he committed domestic violence. The Browns are now 0-2 to start the season. They are back home next week to host Micah Parsons and the Packers. And down in Miami, the Tigers in action, taking on the Marlins. Detroit got the win over Miami 2-0 and are now 85-65 on the season. The Tigers are still in second place in the American League, which would make them the 2 seed if the postseason started today. There are just 12 games left in the Major League Baseball season. And in Cleveland, the Guardians taking on the White Sox. Cleveland got the win over Chicago 3-2. Their record improves to 78-71 overall. They are back in second place in the AL Central Division, but if the playoffs started today, they would be on the outside looking in. They are not technically eliminated yet, but with 12 games left in the regular season, as we said, they are 3.5 back of the AL wildcard spot, and they have the Tigers to take on in 6 of their final 12 games. And in AAA baseball, the Mud Hens had their final home series of the season, and today was the final game. Toledo got the win over Louisville 5-4, so they split the series this week. The Hens go on the road to Iowa to finish the year. And like the Guardians, the team is not technically eliminated from the postseason, but the Hens would need to win all of their games in this next and final series and get some help from other team losses in order to qualify. I caught up with manager Gabe Alvarez after today's game. He said regardless of what happens, it's been a good 2025.
It's been very special, and I think you know, more than anything, just being here in Toledo, you know, coming back to you know, familiar grounds, and you know, just can't say enough, like I said, about the people here. They've really taken me in, and they've been extremely supportive. The organization here is first class. You know, it's been a thrill and an honor to manage the Mud Hens.
And check this out. A new episode of Chasing the Game is dropping soon. This week, I caught up with Springfield head coach Sam Arredondo. We talked about his coaching career and philosophy, but we also talked about the injury to his starting running back, Gabe Gregory. Here's a small part of that conversation. Any sort of update with him? How's he doing? How's the team doing?
Yeah, I got some texts over the weekend about him. He's in good spirits, you know, considering. Same with the boys, you know, they've been reaching out. I know they've been in contact with the family, trying to help out, you know, get his living situation organized so he can, you know, navigate his home and everything. So he's in good spirits. I'm not exactly sure on a, you know, a timeline or anything like that, but, you know, it seems all good considering the fact of everything that happened this weekend.
You can watch the full episode this week on WTOL 11+, which you can download for free on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can also watch and listen to full episodes on YouTube and Spotify. But for now, that's all for sports. We'll be right back.
Social media isn't just about likes and follows anymore. It's now big business. One high school in Mesa, Arizona, is teaching students how to make social media content with a purpose.
Today we're going to do our first piece of our creation.
In this class, social media is the lesson, but not in the ways you may think.
You're going to pretend like you are launching your very first platform. We don't have access to phones. They don't spend the class scrolling TikTok and Instagram. We're actually building more of their awareness.
The course is designed to show teenagers that social media is about more than just posting for fun. It's about strategy.
This class is very much focused on the ever-changing landscape of marketing and the way that social media is taking over everything these days. So what it does is it teaches the kids not only ethical social media use, appropriate social media use.
That means teaching students about their digital footprint and that what they post is oftentimes on the internet forever.
I know that social media is inevitable. There's no avoiding it, and I'd rather be literate in it than see it as a distraction and use it as a tool to better myself.
The approach is giving students like Peyton Kramer a new perspective on an industry that now generates billions of dollars.
Sometimes whenever you're just doom scrolling, you don't think of the effort and the thought behind each video, but now I kind of see each video from a different lens of the creator rather than just the viewer that they want you to be.
Others see it as a launching pad for their future careers.
I am trying to become a business owner because I can learn to put myself out there more, trying to get more views, more attention, so people will at least know about me, probably be interested in what I'd be doing, selling, or services.
Background colors, font, whatever it is that speaks to you.
We are living in a world where artificial intelligence is also playing a factor when it comes to content, and we're seeing AI influencers. What does that mean for perhaps a career in social media?
When it comes to the actual content creation, I think that AI content creation is just not going to be the same as if it's human-made.
All right.
They never had classes like that. We had home ec. We learned how to bake cookies, but influencer class.
Yeah, these kind of things make me a little nervous.
Yeah.
I think the future's coming at us fast, and I'm really wondering what are things going to be like for our kids someday.
I remember when I was in elementary school and we had typing class. Like the bar was so low for like what you could do with a computer, and now we're at the point where if you're not learning in high school how to like start a business using social media, I mean, what people are doing now online is just so much farther ahead than what we were doing even 10 years ago.
Typing 100 words a minute's an admirable skill too.
We're already being left behind. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you have a great start to your week, and we'll see you again right here next weekend. Take care.